The domestic dog, Canis lupus familiaris. Man's best friend. Dogs have been by man's side for more than 30,000 years. I'm here to give you some basic information about why dogs are so smart and considered amazing creatures. Domestic dogs can live up to 14 years on average depending on breed, weighing up to almost 250 pounds as well. Dogs come in all shapes and sizes. While these animals vary drastically in appearance, every dog from the Chihuahua to the Great Dane is a member of the same species, Canis familiaris. This separates domestic dogs from wild canines such as coyotes, foxes, or wolves. A third of all households worldwide had a dog, according to the 2016 Consumer Insights study. This makes the domestic dog the most popular pet on the planet. All dogs descend from a species of wolf, but not the gray wolf, Canis lupus, like many people assume. In fact, DNA evidence suggests that the now extinct wolf ancestor to modern dogs was Eurasian. While it's impossible to say exactly how a wild wolf species has become a domesticated dog, most scientists believe that the process happened gradually as wolves became more comfortable with humans. Humans might have encouraged wolves to stay nearby, actively feeding them. Later still, those wolves may have been welcomed to the human home and eventually bred to encourage certain traits. All of this is thought to have unfolded over thousands of years. The variety of dog breeds can fit into multiple different categories such as work dogs or herding dogs. Many of the dogs you know and love are a product of selective breeding between individuals with desirable traits, either physical or behavioral. For instance, around 9,500 years ago, ancient peoples began breeding dogs that were best able to survive and work in the cold. Human breds German Shepherds for their ability to herd livestock, Labrador Retrievers to help collect ducks and other game felled by humans, and sausage-shaped Dachshunds for their ability to rush down a burrow after a badger. The domestic dog's sense of smell is between 10,000 and 100,000 better than our own. Canines now assist law enforcement by sniffing out drugs, explosives, and even electronics. Similarly, dogs can sniff out early signs of Parkinson's disease, diabetes, several types of cancer, oncoming epileptic seizures, and antibiotic-resistant bacteria. They guide deaf and blind people, and they help people with autism and PTSD manage with anxiety. Studies have shown that dogs display many behaviors associated with intelligence. They have many advanced memory skills and are able to read and react appropriately to human body language such as gesturing and pointing, and to understand human voice commands. Dogs demonstrate a theory of mind by engaging in deception. Dogs have often been used in studies of cognition, including research on perception, awareness, memory, and learning, notably research on classical and operant conditioning. The first intelligence tests for dogs were developed in 1976. It included measurements of short-term memory, agility, and agility to solve problems such as deterring to a goal. It also assessed the ability of a dog to adapt to new conditions such as deterring to a goal, as well as emotionally difficult situations. Various studies have shown that dogs readily learn the names of objects and can retrieve an item from among many others when it's given a name. For example, in 2008, Betsy, a border collie, knew over 345 words by a retrieval test, and she was also able to connect an object with the photographic image of the object despite having never been seen before. It is argued that the central understanding of a border collie's remarkable accomplishments is the dog's breeding background. Collies bred for herding work are uniquely suited for intellectual tasks like word association, which may require the dog to work at a distance from the human companions. Studies suggest that dogs feel complex emotions like jealousy and anticipation. For example, in his 1996 book, Good Nature, ethologist Franz de Waal discussed an experiment on guilt and reprimands conducted on a female Siberian husky. The dog had a habit of shredding newspapers, and when her owner returned home to find the shredded papers and scold her, she would act guilty. De Waal concludes that the dog did not display true guilt as humans understand it, but rather simply the anticipation of reprimand. Dogs are capable of learning through simple reinforcement, example, classical or operant conditioning, but they also learn by watching dogs and other dogs. Puppies learn behaviors quickly by following examples set by experienced dogs. This form of intelligence is not particular to those dogs with tests that have been bred to perform, but can be generalized to various abstract problems. The dog's anatomy is not very different from any other mammal. When the pups are born, they all have bones, muscles, and tendons that an adult dog has. As they grow bigger in size, the number of these bones, muscles, and tendons does not increase, only the tissue size does. The anatomy of a dog includes its skeletal structure, reproductive system, the internal organs, and external experience. Some dogs have a fifth toe called the dew claw. It is seemingly useless, but some dogs use it to strengthen their grip on whatever they are holding down between their legs. In some breeds, the dew claw touches the ground when the dog walks, but in most cases, it is not of much use. The average number of dogs' bones in each body are 321. The number will differ according to the length of an individual dog's tail. As with all living beings, the bones surround and protect the internal organs of a body from injury. They are hard, rigid, and are made up of calcium and phosphorus. One extremely important part of the dog's skeletal anatomy is the skull. It is a long bone structure that encases the brain and contains a cavity called the orbit, where the eye is located. It is elongated and extends to the end of the muscle. Dogs are shown to be some of the most intelligent and sensible animals. Who knows how long it will be toward the future to see if dogs will remain man's best friend.